Today, I do some cover research and visit some bookstores. Welcome back to Writer's Theory. I'm James Winterthorn, and in this video, we're doing some cover art research. And to do that, I go to three bookstores that loosely follow Cole Mercer's journey from Missouri through Kansas. Now, of course, we know that much of the story takes place in Colorado. And if you enjoyed me visiting these bookstores along Cole Mercer's journey, perhaps we'll do an Eastern Kansas and Colorado bookstore visit. If you recall from the last video, I just gave an update on the project as a whole, starting from how I began this project to being in the editing and cover design phase now. So I spent this last week visiting some bookstores in Missouri and Eastern Kansas. I recorded some footage of that, really with two intentions. So the first being, what's some cover art that I like, that I find inspiring, that made me want to pick up a book, made me curious about the story. And secondly, to feature some independently owned bookstores along this path. We've never really done a video like this, so it's going to look a little different. It might sound a little different, but let's get started with the first of the bookstores that we visited. On the tour that similar, we're following the course that Cole Mercer followed during his journey back to Colorado. And we're trying to find bookstores along the way that are close enough to the journey. We're in Missouri now. This might be a little farther north and east than he would have gone, but we wanted to find independently owned bookstores. Wait for the truck to pass by. Wait for some find some independent bookstores to visit along the way. We're gonna do some cover art inside. And the first store we're going to is Prospero's. So let's go inside. So Prospero's is a wonderful bookstore in Kansas City. And they have multiple levels, lots of books, lots of used books, where they buy, sell and trade books. So just wonderful store, very eclectic, multiple levels. The bookstore is owned and operated by Will Lethem and Tom Wayne. So we meet Will later in this video. He tells us a little bit more about the store. So for the purpose for our visit here is like we're looking at books. Like we want to of course feature the bookstore, but we're looking for covers, specifically Western covers, to try to get themes and ideas for what we want the cover of my Western to look like. So in addition to just perusing the store, we are here looking for covers. And it took me a minute to find where the westerns were. We did eventually find the section with westerns, but it doesn't have to be just westerns. It can be other genres as well. But we do want to find what works in the genre that I'm writing in. Start to get an idea of what the high production westerns are, like this Last Gunfighter, Frank Morgan, The Last Gunfighter. Really liked this cover. Really liked these orange, red, yellow themes. which is probably the direction we're going to go. And like they had covers like this, like there seemed to be two themes for covers that I found interesting, and the first being the landscape slash adventure kind of feel. So covers that intrigue about the journey that's ahead of the characters in the story. But the most evident one, and you can see in like these Johnstone books, is a very character focused cover. So we're really like assuming it's the protagonist. Very character-driven covers. So it makes you think that the protagonists here, what's their story. So those are kind of the two themes. Is like you have the landscape, what's the adventure going to be, and then you have the protagonist-driven cover. And so we have that, and then we're going to cut to Will, who's the owner and proprietor of Prospero's, telling us a little bit about his shop.
October 19th, 1997. We raced to get open. That's the day Silver Beach opened Shakespeare and Company in Paris. Became the home of Hemingway and Fitzgerald and Picasso and everybody that was the moderns. We have a publishing company. We published about 500 books. And our goal was to be right on the front end. We've done about 2,500 live shows and art openings, all that stuff. So
that's wonderful.
There you go.
Yeah. So it's like you generally work with local authors and artists, or
Missouri, Kansas. Everybody else got their own people that take care of themselves.
There you go.
So Prospero's has been in business since '97. Long time to operate a bookstore. The printing and book industry has been through a lot in that time, and to continue to have such a strong and healthy bookstore is really something to be proud of, for sure. So thanks to Will for letting us come in and film, and for putting Chords of Fate as a featured book on his shelf. Really appreciate that. We moved on from Missouri and Kansas City and headed west to Lawrence, Kansas, which is a pivotal scene or place in the story. So let's head on to Lawrence and watch my adventures there.
In the story, our main character, Cole Mercer, he's part of a Confederate unit that is responsible for raising the city of Lawrence during the Civil War. And so he has to contend with this feeling. We're going to let this truck pass. So he's dealing with this guilt, and then what happened to him immediately after the war. And then on his way back to Colorado, he comes through Lawrence and meets Maria in this town. So we wanted to come here and just see the town and feature a local bookstore and really like see Lawrence. I've never been. So this is a fun town. This is a college town. Kansas University's here, or University of Kansas. Sorry, Jayhawks. And let's see what we got in this town. This has a fun downtown area, and there are two bookstores that we're visiting here, both in the same strip. So if you've never been to Lawrence, this is a big college town with a fun downtown, and it's fun to support these local businesses in this towns. So it's fun to come out and just be a part of this experience, to see the town. especially in springtime when the weather's nice. It's not hot, it's not cold, it's just nice. Those are like important stuff. Now, do dogwoods turn green at some point? Like, they're all just purple. Like, it's just an amazing tree. Anybody knows if dogwoods do anything more than this? Let me know. I'm sure they do. So we're here at the Raven Bookstore in Lawrence, Kansas to check out some book covers. Let's go inside and see what we got.
Raven Bookstore, they do have newer things in the store. Didn't really see a lot of used things, and didn't ask the question, but this is a fun bookstore with a huge selection and a lot of events. In addition to selling books, they feature a lot of authors and just hold multiple events. So if you find yourself in Lawrence and are looking for something to do that is creative or just culturally interesting, something to check out Raven Bookstore. So here we're still looking at some covers. I'm getting a good idea of what I want to do, and that really in terms of color and theme, where I do really like the orange, yellow, red themed cover. I think works well in the Western genre. It's still very striking, as long as I can get some contrast in light and dark. And I think I'm going to follow more of a protagonist theme when it comes to featuring the cover and having an image of Mercer on the cover in some fashion. But we're still looking at some covers here, still trying to get a feel for what we want it to look like, what is striking, what stands out to us. You see, like I'm looking at the Silo series here, which of course is based off a book, but I think I saw the show, so I was just fascinated by that. You'd think I would have looked at the Dune books, being such a big fan, but I'm already familiar with those covers. But maybe it would have been beneficial to share that with you here. But just looking at the different ones, I like this one because it has because it's framed very interesting. Like it has the grass around the frame. That was just fun. The Toto with the dog on there. Different takes on the Wizard of Oz. But still just getting a feel for what different covers are and what people are doing and deciding to make their covers look like. And granted, most of these are going to be publishers having a big say in the cover and what it looks like, because it's such a big piece of the marketing of the book that you might occasionally see some wild ones like this one here. But the cover, we don't judge books by their cover, or we're not supposed to, but we certainly do. And so a lot of these are probably determined by the publisher, and hopefully with enough input from the author. Versus what we're doing here is I'm going to self-publish, so like all the decisions are up to me, and that is both great for me because I keep my creative agency, but I'm not a marketer, so I might make a terrible cover that nobody's interested in. And then we come to the principal resident of the Raven Bookstore, and that is Sammy. Sammy's an orange tabby that said hello to us, and we spent a little time with. They have another cat named Dean, who was sleeping at the time, despite the request for a visit. So that was a Raven bookstore. We didn't really have time for an interview to have the owners tell us about the store. So maybe next time we're in town, we'll come by and we'll get a little more formal with the visit. But Raven was a great stop for us.
So we're here. We're at the Dusty Bookshelf. We're at a second bookstore in Lawrence, and let's go do some cover research inside.
This is getting toward the end of our trip, and I'm certainly getting tired at this point. It's amazing how just visiting some stores and being on camera will make the day a little more challenging. At this point, I had a pretty good idea of what I wanted covers to look like, and so just looking for some random stuff and just finding these old vintage books was pretty cool. So this particular store, the Dusty Bookshelf, is 100% used books. So people bring in their books and they will buy them or they will trade for them. But the Dusty Bookshelf just features books that have already been read or at least previously owned. So really cool idea. There are 2 locations. They have this one that is in Lawrence, and they also have one in Manhattan, Kansas. And so we just wanted to look around and just feature the bookstore. I've time-lapsed this in a weird way, so I apologize for the how quickly this moves along. But this is a wonderful bookstore. If you find yourself in Lawrence, Kansas, check out the Dusty Bookshelf, and I'm sure you'll find some treasures really in any of the stores we went to. But this one's fun because it's all used books. So who knows what you might find just perusing the shelves here. This store also had a kitty, but my phone ran out of my battery ran out before we could really get too far along in that journey. So we were able to follow Cole Mercer's path, at least partially, into central Kansas. So we enjoyed visiting these bookstores a lot. This is new content for me and for us at Writer's Theory. So we certainly learned a lot on this trip. And if you like this content, this style of us visiting local bookstores and featuring them and just getting to know some of the people that are out selling our books, not just my books, but all of our books that we put out there. Let me know if this video does well. We'll do more videos like this. You can let me know in the comments what you thought about the journey. We're also relatively new to filming in live settings. Like, I know how to do this at my desk in my office. So we learned a lot in this video about video production on the road, about the bookstores, and we met some wonderful people along the way. So if you find yourself in Kansas City, visit Prospero's bookstore, wonderful shop. And then, of course, in Lawrence, the Raven bookstore and the Dusty Bookshelf. So I have a good idea of what a cover should look like. And this week, I will start the creation of a cover. And the next video, hopefully I have a good cover idea, maybe front and back, we'll see. But we're going to put my Photoshop skills to the test for the next video. So if you'd like to see how my cover comes along and follow me on the rest of this journey of creating and publishing a novel, please like and subscribe. We enjoyed getting out in the wild and visiting some bookstores. So we will probably create another video at some point about the western half of Cole Mercer's journey, and maybe visit Trinidad, Canyon City, a couple of the places along his journey. So thanks for watching all the way to the end. I know this is a little different content than we usually do, so I really appreciate you watching the video, and I will see you in the next one.